Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Scraps of Memories, the interview series. This one is going to be with another tournament victor. It's a bit of a twofer. He wasn't super interested in doing it after a bit of the wildness in the tag tournament, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But most recently, winning the 1v1 tournament, which you'll see the finals here. We may not make it all the way through before the end of the interview. We have Xanxus.
How's it going, everyone?
So I'm glad to have you here with me. I'm glad you agreed to this interview. We've done several together, so hopefully by now we've got it down. The song and dance, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was definitely a fun series. I actually had the pleasure of playing you in the 1v1 finals. Didn't have the pleasure of beating you, unfortunately, but it was a fun series all around. But before we jump into talking about the finals, the 1v1 tournament, I figure we'll hit a couple of other topics first. We'll start with back in the old days of Phantom Dust. How did you originally find out about Phantom Dust?
So, Phantom Dust, I actually found out about it by Xexus. So, um, Xexus is a little bit older than myself, so he actually moved out. I believe he was rooming with someone, and I remember going over to his house, and he showed me a magazine. I don't know if it was IGN or one of those Game Informer magazines, and it talked about Phantom Dust, and he wanted to play a game that was a new art. He wanted to play a new RPG for the Xbox, and he thought that's what Phantom Dust was. It was an RPG game. The way they talked about it, having different skills and all that stuff. Um, so I remember going to his house and seeing him play it, and he was playing through story mode. And I told him, go online. I want to see you go online and fight people online. And as soon as he went online, he got destroyed. I remember him getting hit by reincarnations, and I was like, that is the coolest thing. Like, he literally tossed this like black bird thing at you and killed you. And ever since then, like, I got the game immediately. I got Xbox Live set up at the house and loved the game ever since. So
Nice. Nice. I think a lot of us found our ways. It's kind of an interesting game because it wasn't super popular. Where it was just like it was Halo. Everybody played Halo. Duh. Phantom Dust almost always has like it's almost like your journey to the game kind of story. So it's always interesting to hear where other players have shown up from, especially this diehard community that we have going.
yeah, I feel like it's such a tough game to explain to people. I remember like having like talking to my coworkers or other people, and it's always like, oh, what game are you playing? You tell them the name, they look at you all weird, and then you're trying to explain it like, yeah, it's a card game, but like it's not really. You move around, and like you always see the confused look on their face, and it's like I can never describe it. So
Yeah, even me, because that's been kind of my role in the community for a long time too. Like it's so hard. That's why we made that video that we have. For those who aren't aware, check it out. It's on the same channel as what you're watching right now, called "What Is Phantom Dust." Just a short 2-minute video, basically, that does answer that question because this is much easier when you can also show someone, right? And so that video
yeah,
explains it while also showing, so you don't just have to like pull up a random video
yeah.
of people fighting. It's actually very helpful.
Interesting enough, I actually watched that the other day, like just watching through videos and going through like autoplay. And that does do like a really good job at explaining it. Like it just shows like clips and footages of like everything, and like they go down with like that. I would actually recommend that to like someone trying to get like into the game. So
Yeah, so check that out if you haven't. But on that same vein, talking about some of the old days of Phantom Dust, what was your experience playing online back in the day?
so my experience online was actually Battle Royal. Both myself and Zex would always go into Battle Royal, and we would fight ourselves and other people. We both used to play jumpers. And we would always go into Battle Royal. We would always get beat down, and just we would continuously play it until one day we saw there was a tag lobby up, and we are like, you know what? Why don't we just team up one day and just just fight them. I'm not sure who were the first opponents we ever fought, but we played it through. We were laughing and having fun the whole way, but we still ended up losing. And then ever since then, we got hooked to playing tag team. And I just remember playing so many people that are in the like re-release that I've played back in the day that probably have no idea that they ever played me or Zex. So it's pretty cool. So
Nice. Well, speaking of playing lots of those people back in the day, who do you remember playing most? Did you have winning records, losing records? Was it a player that like just trashed on you?
the only person who I could never beat around that time. I got a couple wins on them, but overall, I would say that about 80%, maybe even 85% of the time, they always beat me. Was always iDoom and whoever he was teamed up with. I'm not sure who his partner was back in the day, but both me and Xanxus was when I used to play a jumper as well. Would always jump in whenever we saw iDoom's lobby. Like I remember even like telling them like, dude, iDoom's lobby's up. Like we need to go in there and we need to play them. And we would go in there and we would always just get beat down and demolished. And we would always just want to come back and play him every single time. And eventually we did end up beating him a couple times, but it was definitely more losses on our part. We were still new to learning the game and stuff like that. I think the highest thing we learned at that point was like sword fake outs and stuff. I never used the Rian, my usual Rian sword combo and stuff like that back in the day. So
Nice. Well, that's something we can, bond over and maybe reminisce over there, because that was somewhat of my experience as well, was more or less rolling over anybody else, but Doom back then just felt like this insurmountable wall that nobody could beat. It was just absurd.
yeah, it's the whole reason why I wanted to play him so much during like these whole tournament series coming up all the time.
That always got to be a bit of a meme. It felt like you guys somehow managed to never play each other.
Never, no matter what. It just always was avoided. So.
Well, let's talk about it, because Doom never enters the 1v1 tournaments. But if he did, and neither of you was playing any jank, right? If you were just playing straight up, do you take Doom? Who do you think wins?
I still think I take him. I think what makes him really a hard person to beat, and hence why he plays a lot of tag, is that he utilizes the fact that you're paying attention to the other player. Like a lot of times I'm getting hit by like iDoom is because for a split second I decide, oh, let me look at his partner, and he sees that and just like dings me like a lot of times. So if you notice a lot of the videos that I play against him, whether it was like some of the tag games, you notice that a lot of the times I'm only paying attention to him, and just like shutting out anybody else and just paying attention. So if it was a 1v1 situation, I just think I would have more of an advantage, especially playing a cartwheeler. So
I remember Evolution actually calling that out in the semifinals match of me and Choices versus Doom and Skaboss in that last tag tournament. And I didn't notice it until he said it. He's like, Bregan only locks on to Skaboss whenever Doom is dead.
Yep.
And I was like, that's kind of true. Because as soon as you look away from him, you get hit. He's such a high-pressure player. He's very good at that. That's one thing that I don't know that
it is. His timing is like perfect, especially as a jumper. You don't know how many times I've seen him I'm about to attack him and he just jumps, and you see that cycle spear coming, and you can't do anything. It's gonna hit you. So
yeah,
he's a tough player.
That is one of the things I think he does better than anybody else. Is that level of pressure. It's fantastic.
And especially playing, what I give him props for is to have that high level of play and to be a jumper as well. Because I don't think I could ever come up to that level in jumping, like the way he moves and maneuvers, playing a jumper. I don't think I could ever get to that point. So I know I could like dodge swords and stuff like that, but there's a lot of stuff that he does that I'm just like I would have never been able to dodge that as a jumper.
Well, I think it's a big part of his pressure play style. Like, I think cartwheelers have always been the more defensive option. Not that they can't put pressure, but the jumpers just have an edge in being able to put down offensive pressure. And so I think that does enable his play style quite a bit, playing as a jumper. I don't know that I would like Doom as a cartwheeler. What are your thoughts? What about if he? I know we're really sidetracked right now, but what would you think of Doom as a cartwheeler? Do you agree?
I honestly, I like personally myself, I think it would only make him better. Like, because he plays, you're saying if he plays, like, I play aggressive, and I feel like, the way you're saying it, like a cartwheeler is more defensive, like, I feel like I can actually go more aggro as a cartwheeler. So,
I feel
like
a cartwheeler can position a little bit more freely, yes, because he can get away with stuff that a jumper could not.
Yeah.
But I feel like a jumper has access to more aggressive angles than a cartwheeler does. That's how I would put it.
Okay.
You can also get around the map a little faster, depending on where and stuff. All right, we'll get off of the Doom train, though.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Your playstyle from back in the day versus now, would you say it's different, and how so?
It's definitely different. I would say it's a huge difference, of course, because back in the day I used to play as a jumper, and I think during either it was the re-release is when I started playing a cartwheeler. So as a jumper, I was a lot more defensive. Like, I'd block anything that was coming at me. I wouldn't try to walk stuff or anything like that. But I don't know. Ever since I switched over to cartwheeling, like it's just been a lot better. Like, especially like playing, like, my knowledge of a jumper. I know what jumpers can do, and I know what they can dodge and stuff like that. And I use that during when I play games with anybody. Like.
Nice. Well, it's always good to grow in a playstyle because, I play different than I did then. I've always been a bit of a stat abuser, but everybody's had to grow since then because, back in the day, you could just lay a memory lapse or reduce entropy and auto win many matches, but so many people are prepared for that kind of stuff now. So the meta's changed, and I think most players have changed with it as well.
Definitely.
All right, well, let's get to some modern day stuff here. Let's talk about this last 1v1 tournament then. Were you happy with how you played in the tournament? Was there any way or anything that you wish you'd done better?
I don't know. I felt like the tournament went good overall. Like, I didn't see anywhere where I would have really changed anything. So.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that after winning the tournament. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the finals then, which is playing in the background. We're on lane right now, by the way, just started.
Gotcha.
How did you feel the final series went? What are some of your thoughts on the finals?
Final series was good. To be honest, I didn't expect to lose the 2 games, like to be down 2 games. Like, I was after the 2 games and stuff, like, there was definitely pressure, but I felt like those 2 games, like, after playing you twice, like, it kind of warmed me up, and, like, it was definitely a tough game. Even the last game, like, I think the only reason why I won you that last game in Sign was because I'm pretty sure I had a diabolical trick in my hand, and I had a turbulence in base, and I never grabbed the turbulence because I had the DBT in my hand. But when I saw that you had the dash and the tiger strength, I moved in on you, and I just decided to give away my DBT and just use turbulence to try to get you, like, away from your base. Because I thought you had a defense in your base, which, looking at the video, it was there. So, but I think if it wasn't for that move, I would have been done for. Because dash, tiger strength, lasers, in that map is pretty brutal. So.
Yeah, the turbulence was definitely a game changer, and There was a rough draw for us both in different ways on that map. I don't think either of us was super happy with the draws we had.
No, I had to stay in my base for most of the game because I just couldn't get the setup I wanted either.
Yeah,
So.
and I couldn't get a Tiger Strength until like what was it, like 11 capsules remaining, and I had 3 or something like that. And
Yeah, and I think as soon as you got one as well, that was the one I actually went for and popped.
you popped one, and then my next one you turbed, so I
Mhm.
never even really got to use one. So yeah, it was a rough time. Yeah, it was definitely a fun series though. I think it definitely paid off getting to see yourself and myself play in the tournament there. I've always enjoyed facing you in the 1v1 tournaments when I've had the chance.
Yeah, that's what I was interested also because I know we've played games previously and they were just kind of pickup games and stuff like that. But when it came down to the final, like we had the experience, we followed each other before, so it was just like it's like game time at that point.
Yeah,
So,
other people may not know.
so they were good
We were
games.
scrim partners, so that's just information. Like you and I know because we're talking about it. But for people that are listening in, we were scrim partners throughout the 1v1 tournament, so we played each other quite a bit throughout this tournament. So yeah, it was very interesting to see like, okay, pick up versus let's get down to crunch time.
Yeah, because I think we kind of knew what each of us was running for the most part. I felt like at least like for the most part I knew what decks and stuff like that you would be running in each map. But
I did feel like I pulled a bit of a switch hit with some of the Tiger Strength lasers because I didn't generally run that in the 1v1s versus you. So because we mostly played on like Palace and Refinery, so I thought that might throw you for a bit of a loop, and I did get a win off of it. And I feel like I could have gotten a second win off it because I did it twice. I did it on Sign, but we just talked about how things went down on Sign.
yeah, yep.
So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, we played each other so much, we basically knew everything that the other one was running.
hmm
All right, let's talk about some other topics with the 1v1 then. Um, we can't talk about this 1v1 tournament without talking about Venom Blitz. What were some of your thoughts on him after he was revealed, before he was revealed, his performance, all things Venom Blitz?
So, so the first time I ever heard of him, I think was in the Messenger app. I don't know, somebody was talking about him there, but I honestly never thought he was going to join the tournament, or at least if he did, like I didn't really get to play him much, so I didn't know how good he was. Like I heard word about him, and I think it got to a point where I did play him, and he was really difficult to pinpoint who he was because there'd be times he'd switch from cartwheeler to jumper, and then he was running different arsenals. He'd run jank, and sometimes he'd run different other aggressive arsenals and stuff like that. So, I was really impressed on how well he did in the tournament, like getting as far as he did in the tournament, just being like a first newcomer. Um, but I didn't get to play him, so I can't really offer any insight as far as how well he did or anything. So
Fair enough.
those games against, I think the games against you and him went to like what 40 minutes or something. Like it was pretty long.
No, they're pretty one-sided.
Uh, I thought it took like 40 minutes though, a video or something.
I'd have to go back and check. One of the videos might have been longer because we did tie. The second time we played, we tied on Palace.
Gotcha.
But both of them ended up in a 3-0.
Okay.
So it was like a 3-0, one with a tie. So 3-0-1.
Gotcha. I still think it's impressive for him to actually come that far.
Yeah, I mean, he took Kanye in a best of 5. He also took Invoker in a best of 5. Who else did he beat? I'm trying to remember.
He beat Sardonic?
No, he beat Shadow Shield.
Shadow Shield, that's what it was.
Dude, he beat the pants off of Shadow Shield too. It was brutal.
Yeah, so look at that. If that's his first time in his tournament, like you can only get better from there. So there's a lot of stuff like the pressure of playing in a tournament and all that stuff for the first time. So I was antsy the first time I played my first tag team tournament. So.
Well, the first tournament you played was actually the 1v1 tournament, that one that we don't have any video footage of. That was actually the last time I played you in a 1v1 tournament. Was that one?
Those were fun. I don't know those. I think the games that were the toughest was, I think it was versus. I think it was yours, to be honest. I think it was either you or Reborn were the two that were like the ones that gave me the most
I
trouble. But
spectated Reborn, and you put a massive hurt on him. It was not close.
dude, but yeah, he didn't know who I like. We never
He
played before
he
previously, so I don't
disrespected a
think he had
bit.
any info. Yeah,
He
and I
absolutely
think
did.
you saw that and you're like, nope, I need to prepare for this kid.
Well, even when I played you, I still didn't know who you were. I thought Guinan, just because he's always kind of had a tendency to do that. When we saw him do it versus Shadow Shield once too, where he just disrespected and fed his nuts off. In
No,
that one v
yeah,
one tournament, he's done that before. I mean, we saw him do it in this tournament. He did it versus Jester as well. He ran freaking multi Miramasa deck as a cartwheeler on City versus a jumper. He has that tendency. He's a very, very good player, but he every once in a while he'll disrespect on a player like that. So I when I saw him
yeah,
do that, I was like, oh, maybe he just took this guy too lightly. Now I need to take him down. And then it was still a 5-game series, but you put me down.
that's crazy. See, I would never take it easy on anybody.
He likes to play with people. He does.
I don't. I just, no matter who it is, who I fight, I always go with like 100%.
To be fair, in this last one, he says he accidentally picked the Miramasa deck, but
I could see that as well. So, I mean, we can only really go by what he says as
we can
well.
go by what he says, and we can also consider history. He has a history of underestimating opponents.
Yeah.
So it's 50-50. But if he says that he picked it by accident, I have to lean towards he probably picked it by accident. Because I don't know. That goes a little beyond disrespect to the, like, what in the world is wrong with you? Why would you use something like that on City versus a jumper? My goodness.
But what if he won with it?
Legend. Legend
See?
status.
So,
Besides the finals, then, did you have a favorite match that you played in the tournament?
the sardonic one was actually pretty good. That was another 5 game series. Like, I remember actually being like a little nervous during like the game 4 as well for that one. So
Yeah, he had some pretty big upsets in the tournament because we mentioned he took down Guinan, and then he took you to 5 games as well. Jester definitely
mhm.
had an impressive showing in the 1v1 tournament.
Yeah, I always knew he was good. During the first time, during the tag where we mixed up the tag partners and stuff, I was the one that like told Xanxus. I told him, like, who would make a good partner, like a good partner for you would actually be Sardonic. Would be a great partner. And that's why they paired up as well, I think.
I think he's going to be a hot commodity coming up in this next tag tournament, but I don't want to jump the gun on talking about that quite yet. But yeah,
Gotcha.
let's shift another topic with it though. If Sardonic Jester didn't play you in the quarterfinals, how deep does he go, and who stops him in the 1v1?
So the only people I could see, I could see him getting to finals, like to actually like the finals. And the only people that I could see him really going down to would be, there's probably like 3. I would say if I had to pick 3, would have more than likely been Ebony, you, and Kanye as well.
He did lose to
Because
Kanye in groups.
oh, okay, yeah. So those would have been the 3 that would be his toughest bet, like toughest opponents, or maybe that he couldn't have beat. But I could have seen him going to finals and even winning it, because he's got his fundamentals down. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he's smart. He knows his timings and everything as well. So
Interesting. All right. What about a favorite match other than one you played in the tournament, like one that you watched? What was your favorite match of this tournament?
uh, which one was it? I think it must. So I think it must have been the one that I casted from you. Was it you and War Dog? Right?
Oh yeah. Goodness,
Yeah.
how could I forget about that series? I'd forgotten
Yeah,
what he
yeah,
did.
yeah. That one that must have been my favorite one to see because like that was the first time I've ever seen anybody kill with that attack in tournament. Like I was sitting
Which
there
one?
casting and I was like, and when I saw that and the fact that you went down, and I saw that thing coming down to you, I was like, oh my god, he won the game with it. Like,
Judge of Anubis, man.
yeah.
I
So
think
I
almost
and I,
everybody in the old days made the joke, Judge of a Noob,
yep,
right? But man, he did it. It was
he
hilarious.
did it, and he did it in a tournament setting. So that's
I think that's easily like a top three funniest matchup we've had in any tournament. And it had nothing to do with me, even though I was in it. That was all a War Dog. Almost all of the
I
other
was
ones
like,
are Sandal,
no,
too.
yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, that would be the one.
Man, I need to see a Sandal versus War Dog, like, best of 10. Somebody
That's funny.
crowdfund that for me. Is there anybody in the tournament that you wish you could have played that you didn't get the opportunity to? Like War Dog and his Judge of a Noob?
I think it would have been Venom Blitz to fight him one on one would have been nice. Would have been nice.
That's true. Yeah, he had the whole masked luchador status, made him really fun.
Exactly.
Do you think that you would have taken him based on your play versus him in tag?
I think so. I think I would have taken him. Like it would have been close games. I could even see it like possibly going to a game five. Um, but I think I probably would have had it. And then maybe it just comes down to like um, just like more experience overall with the game. You know, if he's starting off new, I've got experience coming, from years ago. So
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll move on from the tag tourney then, or the 1v1
hmm
tournament, and we'll talk about the upcoming tag tournament and the last tag tournament since we never really did an interview for that. Which you want to do first, the upcoming tag or the last tag?
I guess the upcoming one,
All right, let's
the
talk
one that's
about that.
coming up.
So, are you locked in then? Are you playing with Xanxus like I'm hearing, or excuse me,
Yeah,
Zexus?
yeah. It's me and Xanxus together. So
Okay, nice. Glad to hear that. With the upcoming one, is there a team that you're hoping to see enter, or like a dream partnership you haven't seen before that you want to see?
um, trying to think. Not like a dream partnership, but I think there's a couple players that haven't played the game that I feel like should possibly maybe try to come back. I would say to play, but I know everybody's busy and stuff like that as well. So
Who are these players that you're looking at that you want to see back?
I'd like to see like IDIM to come back to play tag. Reborn would be great, but I know if he's got any personal stuff going on, I understand that as well. But just to see a couple, even Mr. Math, I think he was playing tag just the other day, so it'd be fun to have a couple older people play. So
Nice. Are you excited for the no partner restrictions now that you get to be reunited with Zexus,
oh yeah,
the long lost
definitely.
romance?
Like yeah. We've got like we plan on making a lot of different arsenals and stuff together this time around, so it'll be a little bit less crazy with us running like random arsenals every single map. So
I need like a slow motion video of you two running from opposite sides of a daisy field towards each other with sad music playing,
yeah.
and then you embrace in a giant hug. All right, let's talk about the last tag tournament then, which because we don't have a whole lot of information on this new tournament yet because we've only got like two
Yep.
teams signed up. So we'll talk about the
Okay.
last one since you played in it. You technically won it. There was a bit of an issue where the finals weren't able to technically go down, but there was an exhibition finals for those who
hmm
weren't in the know of what happened back then. One team just wasn't able to play the finals. So you teamed with Evolution for a second time. What were some of the pros of playing with him versus when you played with Xanxus, for example?
Um, the pros playing with him was the fact that he was playing a jumper, so a lot of strategies that would have worked on me and Zex, somebody just soft hanging something, um, didn't work with us because he'd easily be able to jump over whatever we needed. And on top of that, that also gave us the advantage of us being able to do that as well. Easier for us to hang if we wanted to. I feel like with Evo, the pros of having him on my team was that there's a little bit of a like unpredictability with us because we could just run normal stuff and fight you straight up, but then there's also that possibility that we can run stuff like Fairy Ring or a bunch of other different combos that work together. So I felt like that was a pro as well. As far as pro with Xanxus, it's just I feel comfortable with them like 100% of the time. Like we don't coordinate arsenals or anything like that, and we always make it work. We have like this mentality that like no matter what, like even if we have like one health, like we're gonna try to win this game no matter what. Like there's been I think situations where we've had like one health, we were both popped out, and somehow we still managed to win. So we're both very competitive, and we've played for like 10, 15 plus years together. So it's like that's hard to build up with another person. So
Yeah, that is a level of synergy that not many other players or teams in this game could boast. So that's definitely
yeah.
got to be an advantage. Let's take the hypothetical then. Xanxus and Evolution versus Xanxus and Xexus. Who wins?
I think that myself and Xexus win. And the reason why I say that is just that's kind of what I referred to earlier was just the like the years of like the that me and Zex have played together. It's just like we know what each other are gonna do. Like a lot of people, and I'm sure you know this as well, but there's a lot of times when I play this game and I will literally will stay quiet. You won't hear a peep out of me. You won't even hear me breathing, and like I will stay quiet and I won't talk to you at all. And it's not that I'm just trying to be rude or anything. It's just I focus a lot at the game. And Zex does the same thing, but a lot of times I don't need to communicate with him what I'm gonna do beforehand. He kind of predicts my movements before I even know. So a lot of times, like our synergy is just crazy. I think there's a video, and I think it's against you, Bregan. I think it was on Panorama. I think it was you and I'm not sure who else. I think it was you and I'm not sure who else it was, but me and him shoot a reincarnation and we time it like exactly at the same time, like almost like we thought this would be the best opportunity to land a rein. So I think it's just the fact that we've played so many games together. So
Interesting. Interesting. I agree with the sentiment as well. When I wrote that question, I had my own answer for it, and I agree with that answer. I think you and Evolution found a pretty good combo, given the tournament setup with partner restrictions that we had previously. That worked out really well for you. That he did a very good job of playing a support to you and enabling you, and doing his own form of carrying as well. He had a lot of things that he brought to the table that I thought complemented you really well.
yeah, that's another thing. Like I give him the utmost respect as well because I don't think that there was anybody else that I could have taken besides, Xexus, that could have played as well, like, with me, to be able to, like, we got to a point where we were coordinating attacks almost as good as when I played with Zex. So there would be times where I would fake out an attack, and he knew I was going to do that. And so he shoots an attack, and it would win us games. I think we won the iDoom game because of that. I think I faked out a fireball, and Evo was right in back of me already with the blaster and caught him or something like that. So, it was a good experience, especially doing it twice. Like, it proved that it really wasn't a fluke, and that he's got what it takes as well. So.
Let's talk about some other matches from the tournament too. Then, do you have a favorite matchup that you remember from that tournament?
From this tournament?
The tag tournament.
From the tag tournament. I'm trying to think, because we played 2 tournaments together, so I might be mixing up the matches. Because we played 2 of them together. So I'm not too sure which matches I played the previous one, but the ones I liked playing were the ones against Doom, to be honest.
He is always really entertaining to play. Like, it's never boring playing against Doom.
Nah, it's always high pace, and you know that he's not going to play any jank. Like, I always knew, like, we're just going to brawl it out. I don't think we ever even agreed to brawl it out, and we always try to just fight them, like, just straight aggro, so.
I've gotten to be the same way. Like, the more I've gotten into the professional play of this, or the tournament side of this, I don't care to play with jank or play versus jank anymore. I just want to fight it out. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the exhibition finals of it?
Which one?
That would have been the finals of you and Evolution, where it was the exhibition match because the PDDCM and Esper were unable to play, and so you played me and Murder.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so you're saying the Murder and Ebony versus PD and Esper?
The finals where you played me and Murder together.
Oh, versus you and match. Murder? What was it? We lost that one, right?
Yeah, I was just asking for your thoughts on the finals.
Oh, I don't know. We played like shit that day, I think, as well. So we got demolished. We knew it was going to be a tough game because I've always seen like Murder as a like a really like top level like jumper, and his defense skill is like through the roof. He knows how to time his defenses and all that stuff. And you're really good yourself fundamentally. So you guys are both up there. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. We really didn't play well at all. I don't think we even warmed up or anything that game that day. So I think what threw us off was just the fact that we had to fight someone else. We almost kind of really were bummed out a bit that we couldn't just play it out as normal. So
yeah, it was an unfortunate situation, and everybody came in cold. I think Murder played one game and I played one game, and we'd never played together. So it was at least fun though, to at least have something in place of the finals that was a high level match instead of just nothing happening.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Given the hypothetical finals, then would you have rather faced out of the other 2 semifinalists, Murder and Ebony or PD and Esper?
Who would I have rather? Like, who would have been the toughest fight?
Well, who would you have rather faced, and what do you think your chances of winning versus both teams were?
So the team I would have rather faced would have been Murder and Ebony. I think that would have been a tougher match for us. It would have been more competitive matches and stuff like that against them. I saw that being one of our most toughest match was them together. They're really good, both defensive player. Ebony runs a tons of shields. Murder runs a tons of shields. So I knew that one was going to be our toughest one. I still think we could have won that one. We would have won, but do you want like percentages for that, or like who would have won or lost percentage? You still there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, give me like an out of 10 or a percentage versus them. Sure.
Okay. Honestly, I'm not sure of percentage. I can tell you win-loss because I don't know. I'm not good with what percent and stuff the matches are going to be. Because the way I see it is like if I still have a chance, like I believe in myself to win it. So I would say that the toughest one would be Murder and Ebony. That would be a 3-2. PD and Esper, I think we previously faced and we beat them like prior to that. So I saw us winning that like 3-1 or 3-0 for that one.
Okay. Speaking of Murder and Ebony, then, I've heard rumblings that they may likely be playing together again for this upcoming tournament. If they play together in this next tournament, which they still may not, what do you think your chances are with them versus Xanxus? Do you favor yourself, or do you think they currently have the advantage?
I would say if me and Xanxus start playing more, which we plan to, I would favor us over it. And that's just because, like, Zex has got a good knowledge on how to play against Xanxus and like how to play against like Ebony and Murder. If anything, I've used Xanxus to be like a higher caliber player. Like I think he's a lot of times a lot better than me. People don't see it really in the background and all that stuff. But just to have him on my side against someone like Murder and Ebony, like I'll just feel a lot like it'll be a lot easier for me to win against them, having Xanxus on my side. Just the synchronization, we know what to do in every situation, and me and him will plan against Jank and all that stuff as well. So
all right. So what I'm hearing is GG easy, Murder sucks. Right? Right?
Yeah, with Zex on my team. Yeah.
Ooh, I think I just got my first line of trash talk out of Xanxus.
That's the best you'll ever get, I guess.
GG easy, Murder. All right, random question to round us off. Besides yourself and Xanxus, then, since you've just been talking about Xanxus, who are your top 3 cartwheelers?
My top 3 cartwheelers are Ebony would be number 1. Let me think about this.
Got some others like Kanye, Guinan.
So that's what I'm thinking about. So I would say Guinan, but so Ebony definitely. Guinan would be one of them when he was at his prime because he used to cartwheel and acrobat through stuff like cartwheeling that was like pretty impressive. So I would say Reborn would definitely be up there. And I don't know. What other PD is actually really good, and Kanye as well. So it's tough to put them in order because they're all equally good. So.
Who do you put over the other? Who makes top 3? PDDCM or Kanye?
That's tough. I'm thinking about it, and what's tough about it is that I remember playing against PD, but I haven't played against him recently. But I've been seeing Kanye play, and I've played with him, and he's been cartwheeling some crazy stuff recently as well. So I really have no idea. Like it might be a tie between them. So.
Ooh, boy, you crazy.
Really?
So I guess I haven't played Kanye that much recently, but I think it would be hard to put Kanye over PDDCM for me. I think he's solid, but I don't know if I could rate him over PD.
I feel like PD, when I play against PD, he falls for fake outs a lot more than what Kanye would. And I guess that just comes down to Kanye playing a lot against me. So I feel like that usually gives me the edge over him when I do get to play against him. So, but he is definitely good as a cartwheeler. I've seen him cartwheel some crazy stuff where I'm just like, he must have played a cartwheeler a long time ago or something.
All right, this has gone on quite long. I think this might be the longest interview I've ever done. But do you have anything else that you personally want to add or say? Message to the community?
No message. Just I'm gonna get on a Phantom Dust so someone get on.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this interview with me. Congratulations on winning the 1v1 tournament, and best of luck in the upcoming tag tournament. Thank you for joining me, Xanxus.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.